looking at Kansas this weekend, this is all I'm looking at. Let's go ahead and look at the past four. Do three because it's next gen. We'll look at the last three Kansas races, and then we'll just refer back to this and basically just go over that. I'll talk about all three series here. I'll do Cup first, and then very quickly talk Xfinity and Truck because look, it's week 1 NFL. Nobody's watching this stuff. Okay, I don't want to make you guys go through multiple videos, despite the fact I could get more ad revenue from that. I'm not gonna do that. I'll just throw it all in here. When we look back at the last couple races for Atlanta, and we look at lap leaders, this is really the only important thing when we look at intermediate tracks, because everything that I care about is already here. I'm looking at how many people are getting laps led, what's happening to those drivers, who's getting the laps led. Is it the main guy who wins the race? Is the race going through or is the track going through a huge transition in terms of what the grip is like? Are we seeing a comer and goer and yada, yada, yada? So here we get 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, 23 laps is pretty significant. But I mean, that's nothing to shake a stick at. 10, I really don't consider that a lap leader. These are projections that you should just have in general whenever you're looking at races. Like for me, at least, I'm usually almost always projecting, people for like 6 to 9 laps led. That's usually already baked into my stuff. I'm not really concerned about that. But anything over 20, need to be at least paying attention to. So we have 4 lap leaders in the. Not saying they're all optimal, but we're trying to chase lap leaders. Okay, we look back at the fall race last year. This is the 21. Yeah, it's 21. So we're not using 21. This is the race on good old 9/11 of last year. We have 1, 2, 3 primary lap leaders here. 4. We get Tyler Reddick being taken out in a crash. Who's leading here? I mean, the same guys that we're expecting to lead, okay? The people who are fast in general at this point entering the race. Hey, look, Hamlin's been fast here. Didn't get any laps led here. But Hamlin's running up there. Crucibel's running up there. Truex running up there. We look at the spring race, which, yet again, race 13 of 36. This one is probably the one I'd look at the least because, there's only 13 races in. This was the 4th intermediate track that the next gen had been to. So a lot of things are up in the air. We see that by the amount of yellows and single car spins. Shout out to the guy who used to take notes, who no longer takes notes now because we at least know, hey, who was involved in wrecks here. I remember these being single car accidents, but it's nice to just see, hey, yeah, just wreck. One guy wrecks. These guys are wrecking by themselves. They're bottoming out and spinning out and everything. But we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys leading laps in this race. Now, yet again, it's people always get mad whenever I say lap leader. Like, what else I'm not going to use dominators because we don't look at that. I just look at projections, all right? So when we look at this race this weekend at Kansas, okay, I've added the Darlington data from this. So who was the best car at Darlington? Tyler Reddick ran in the top 5 all day. By de facto, he was the best car. It was not Larson, data-wise. I would say it was probably Hamlin, but the fact that he had to pit for a loose wheel later brings down his average running position, brings down the percentage of time in this race that he spent in the top 5, top 10. That doesn't happen. We most likely see Hamlin be ranked in my stuff as the best car on track. But yet again, keep that in your head. That's why I don't have Michigan on here. But it's basically the same people here. When we look at Truex last weekend, unhappy with the car, got trapped in really, 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 really bad dirty air. He was bottoming out way more in the practice, or way more in the race. They had not experienced that type of porpoising in the practice session. Although they threw away a chance to get track position, I don't understand why James Small didn't pit him with 60 to go or before the end of the last stage and just keep him out and help him gain that track position. That would have been huge because we saw that you couldn't pass in this race. Larson took all day to get through the field. He'd gain position on pit lane. He'd go through the field on green flag pit stops, but he wasn't able to get to the top 6, top 8 because they had already pulled away. He gets positions on pit lane. He gets lead. He doesn't look back. Same thing with Byron. Slow progression up through the field. We see that Truex was able to get into the teens, and then just a bad pit call. It put him back down the back of the field. And he gets a loose lug nut, which was pretty horrific during green flag pit stops in stage number 2. But yeah, Truex is down here. Alex Bowman, really ran pretty poorly. Very similar to Truex all day. Not a fast car outside the top 20 all day. Hey, guess what? They use strategy to get up through the field. They go up there, and then they're involved in the wreck. So, asterisks, or at least, when we look at everything here that I look at, we see that, yeah, hey, look, this is a percentage. This is the, what is this one? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we got 7 races here, right? Yeah, we got 7. Look, man, 1 out of 7. Don't know what the percentage of that is because my mind is just not that smart. But look, man, this is the outlier. Yeah, top 4 car here performed poorly at Darlington. That's how it's gonna be. I don't know. Does it sound like I'm copping out? I don't know. I played 55% Truex. I lost no money, but I can't believe that. I can't believe I got out of Darlington putting 1,000 in the race, with 580 of that in the Survivor contest, and Brackley didn't lose anything. I think I lost like $48 in the contest, and then due to crowns and promotions and stuff, I got that back, and so I just look at Darlington as a wash for me. I don't know. I was pretty fortunate there. Who else was fast here? Who else was fast in these races? And I hate to say it, but dude, I'm gonna keep playing Byron, man. People get annoyed that I keep saying it. I keep saying him. I'm gonna keep playing Byron. That's just what it is. I'm gonna keep playing Larson. I don't mean to just say the same things all over again. Oh, what? Hey, Dover, Larson got wrecked. It was 1 out of 7. Truex had his at Darlington. Larson got wrecked at Dover. Outside of that, he's been a top 5 car. That's just how it is. We're playing the same guys here. What I want to focus on specifically from these, let's say the last 4. Okay, so let's take these out. Let's look at recent. Let's get even more recent because I'd like to look at these, but let's look at these here. Okay. Let's really take a look at Chris Buescher. If you remove earlier in the season and because this is where I have to be at. This is where I have to take notes. I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, I need to actually take notes here, or not notes, but I need to pay attention. We need to, yes, speed at the short tracks, yes, speed at the road courses, speed at Daytona for whatever that's worth. But he's gonna be there, man. There's a real chance, Larson runs into an issue. We get a green-white checkered. Whatever case happens, Buescher could have won Darlington, okay? And he was the, 6th best car, basically, in this race. That's something you have to pay attention to, okay? At least I'm telling myself, yeah, I'm here, I gotta take notes. Fucking Eric Jones just being a fucking god at fucking Darlington. But, man, dude, was I too hard on that? Did I let my bias see that, Pocono, Nashville, Darlington, that's a fucking 11th place car, when we average this stuff out. Gotta take note of that, man. Hocevar showing fucking speed, man. What a run that was, man. Is Gragson that bad? I don't know. But I gotta take notes of that. These are my takeaways from Darlington. It's not about Truex running into issues and stuff. It's, man, Jones is here, man. We look at the last 3. We're seeing an uptick from where he was earlier. You just isolate really the last 4 races. That's there. If I had Michigan here, this is a situation where I just didn't bother adding the Michigan stuff. But, man, maybe for Jones, I need to go and look at where he would stack on this with Michigan. Maybe I was not too concerned, but, when I look at this stuff, I'm trying to predict who's going to be up top, where, Jones could possibly be a contender. You got to respect Brad Keselowski. This cat is real, man. RFK is there. RFK is certainly surpassed Penske. They're certainly surpassing even where Harvick is. Although Harvick was there. Kevin, this is a race to where, consistent entering. Last 3, we're kind of seeing an uptick. Or last 2, rather. Man, maybe we start playing Harvick. Now, pricing isn't out because I am recording this midday on the Wednesday, on hump day. And I don't have pricing out yet. So we got nothing to go off of. Truck contest literally just went up. There's 6 entries on the truck contest. Xfinity, there's 4. Do we have pricing here? Yeah, we still don't. It's reserved. It is reserved. I don't know, man. I gotta pay attention to Harvick. And this isn't me being like Harvick's gonna win the race, Busch is gonna win the race, Brad Keselowski's gonna win the race. But when we're building lineups, and it's kind of a shame salary isn't out, but like if RFK stays in the 8K range, we have Harvick in the 9K range. Like perhaps do you keep paying up all the way for Truex, for Larson, leaning on more practice data? Maybe you build a not more of a balanced line, but that does open the door for different types of builds. Like we're not playing Blaney, okay? We're not wasting our time fucking playing Blaney. We're not wasting our time playing Logano here, you know. But like, do we? If you're entering a lot of lines, that exposure that you would have to Blaney, that exposure that you would have to Logano, do you replace that with more Buescher, with more Keselowski, you know? Yeah, fuck, even Eric Almirola. I mean, he stayed in the lead lap. He was able to not get lapped, and that really helped his average running position because, you know, you had like 20th on back be trapped lap down up until B.J. McLeod blew the motor, which B.J. McLeod came through for us in some form or fashion. We may have played a lot of him in DFS, but him blowing that motor saved our fucking days, man, because we had everybody a trap. Everybody was a lap down who was like a major player in the projections. That it was going to be horrendous, man. So thank God for BJ blowing a motor. That was good to see. Suarez, like this is concerning for Suarez, man. You really have to. I mean, he got fucking wrecked at Pocono. Same thing here at Darlington, but still, like, man, we really are seeing him be pushed down from, you know, a potential situation where I mean, even here he ran into issues. He's just ran abysmal at intermediates this year. But like at this point, unless I see Suarez at like 6,900, I don't have an issue. I don't want to play him. You know, Stenhouse, same thing. Strapped a lap down. Sped under green flag pit stops in stage one. Just could not really recover. Same thing with Priest. Priest had to pit as well. But anyway, entering Darlington, who am I looking to play? I mean, it's the same guys we've been playing. Truex, Hamlin, Byron, Larson. When we look at Christopher Bell, I was talking with somebody today really about how centralized the groupthink of NASCAR is. And because there's less providers, there's less, what I'm going to say, good content out there. A lot of us are looking at the same data points. We really do have a lot of group like centralization on drivers and with how we build lineups and stuff. And I brought up the fact that I believe that player bias, as in DFS player bias, is the heaviest in NASCAR. Yes, you have your tilts in NFL, you have your tilts in NBA and stuff like that, but because there's such a big group-centered mind, there's such ownership, there's such clusters of ownerships on people. This is a situation where, look, Bell has been a top 10 driver this entire time, really outside of him fencing himself, and the better pit crew from Ty Gibbs really fucking up twice in this race. Bell's speed was right here, okay? He gets in the wall, destroys the car, whatever, slow as fuck. It's the same thing happened at Michigan, okay? I think there's going to be a pretty big lean away from Christopher Bell. If you remember, I think it was New Hampshire. I don't remember. What race was it that Bell, started fucking first at? I'm pretty sure it was New Hampshire, but I don't remember. Yeah, it was Christopher Bell. Situation here. Christopher Bell starts first, has number one pit stall, leads one lap, gets passed right off the bat. I don't remember what happened to him at the moment. Hey, let's check this out. Hey, we actually have good data here. Oh, yeah, so, yeah, Christopher Bell gets in an accident. Finishes the lap down in 29th. Everybody was pretty heavy on Christopher Bell, which, not heavy in a sense of where I've been on Truex and Larson, because I've been playing those fuckers each and every week. Everybody knows that. But Bell I've sprinkled in here and there, so I've been playing Bell. Not at a high volume, but I've had exposure to Bell pretty much every week, I believe, at some point. At least I don't let bad performances shy me away from people. But Bell is shown Bell is is a 7th fastest car week in and week out. Okay, we know that. You add that to the fact that starting first, number one pit stall, everybody loves that. People jump on that and they get just fucking destroyed. The public gets destroyed because they had not been playing Bell nearly as much. The following week, at whatever fucking track they were at, I remember looking through, and I think it was the road course. It was Pocono. Do I have ownership for Pocono? I don't remember. Let me see real fast. All right, so I finally got them, but I want to look at these two races here to see where these guys are starting because I don't remember. I want to think Knobs. I think so. I have the names are on Discord are censored right now because I'm using OBS, so I don't remember the name. I think it's Knobs who posts the ownership in the Discords or in my Discord. He might do it in other ones. I don't know, but it helps me out just to be able to have it in there so I can always go back and see. So at the race at Pocono, the Crayon 301. We got Christopher Bell starting first, as I just went through. He started first, all that stuff. This was the ownership for that race. And we see Christopher Bell at 42% owned. Clearly, just the field plays him. They get fucking destroyed. They're like, man, fuck Bell. I don't want to fucking play him again. We go to Pocono, a track that, when we look, entering Pocono, this is why I love NASCAR DFS. I love it. Entering, oh man, let me take that off. There you go. Entering this race, so we're here, okay? So Bell has been a top 10 car in this race, okay? We just leave a weekend that we can see projected like, hey, Bell should probably be a car that is probably the 5th to 9th best, somewhere in there. That's where he ends up being. We come off of New Hampshire to where he just cooks the field. I mean, everybody's so pissed at Bell. And so Bell starts 5th place, okay? Bell starts 5th the following week at Pocono, okay? This was July 17th, and this is July 23rd. Bell is at, because he just raped the field, basically. Where we at? I know he's in here somewhere. I just saw him when I was loading this shit up. Where are we at, Bell? I'm so sorry if you've already found him. It's going to be, I know it's low. Where's Bell at, dude? That's the wrong one. No wonder I can't find him. He should be in the middle here. Yeah, Bell's at 9% ownership the following week of him just pissing the field away. Okay? So like that's, come on. Like that's clear bias, okay? Clear bias. Clearly a situation. Regardless, like Bell at 9% starting here with this to support him, like, come, guys, that's clear. Like, Bell just fucked me last week. I'm not going to play him. And so a situation like this to where this identical situation happened at Darlington. And I say this all the time when it comes to Counter-Strike. And I understand not all you guys play Counter-Strike or esports and stuff, but the people who watch that and the people who are knee-deep into that, when situations like that happen, you can usually predict how the field is going to go just based on what the field has done. And so, because that's pretty replicatable, not with people tilting, but how lineups and constructions are made there. We see it in NASCAR, and I was actually able to just find the proof of it and stuff. Like, we see a drastic decrease in ownership and play on somebody who literally just fucked everybody who played him. If you played Bell yesterday, unless you had Denny Hamlin, Larson, even Truex, because Truex gained some positions, or Byron, which you should have just built with those guys in general. That's how I walked away with really not losing anything. You got fucked. That's just what it is. And so entering this weekend at Kansas, I'm going to play a lot of Christopher Bell. What does a lot mean? I mean, it depends on where he starts and what he shows, but I mean, at minimum, I'm going to have 25% Bell. Probably end up with like 33. I'd like to be at like 35 or 40, man. That's going to be well over the field. That's going to be well over the field in a situation where Bell has proven that he is going to be anywhere from 6th to 7th best. In a track that Toyota, specifically the second return or the second trip to this track, they've been very good. And very, they've been able to repeat that. Like, Bell is a fantastic play this weekend due to the fact that people are going to be biased to him, due to the fact that people are not going to waste time on NASCAR. I expect ownerships to fall very similar to whatever optimizers are saying this weekend. So if you have SaberSim, Fantasy Cruncher, whatever site you use, I think that's how a lot of people are going to play, because there's not going to be a lot of time and effort put towards NASCAR with Week 1 F1 or Week 1 NFL going on. Okay, I'm going to be live early Sunday, probably like 8 or 9, to be able to get off of and not so I don't compete with any of the NFL Week 1 live shows, because that's just suicide for my channel. I'm not going to do that. But like, I would encourage you to put an effort in NASCAR. This is a situation where everybody's putting effort into NFL. Everybody's doing their bullshit best ball traps and things like that. Like, focus on NASCAR. If you're here listening, you already care more than other people and stuff. But this is where you can take advantage. So, entering this Kansas race, I think we're going to see a discount on Bell anyway in terms of ownership. It might be even bigger now with people truly not giving a shit about NASCAR, just throwing in whatever sites projections they use, throwing in the optimizer, taking their top 10 lines and entering them, how many lines that they can afford to enter and stuff like that. So I think Bell's a fantastic play. Clearly, Larson, Hamlin, Truex, Byron, the guys I want to focus on. Wallace and Reddick. I haven't mentioned either one of those two guys, but they're in the conversation as well because they're still showing us the same speed. Ty Gibbs, we're seeing a slight decrease. I don't know if it was just Darlington being tough on him. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see what his practice speed is more and stuff like that. Didn't kill your lineups, but I'd like to see a little bit more from Ty Gibbs and stuff. Outside of that, I can't really think of anything major. It's really the same guys that we were looking at last weekend. I hate to be that way, but it really is. We're basically just playing the same guys at intermediate tracks and trying to land on them. Give me a break. I do want to talk about the NASCAR Survivor contest really fast, and then we'll talk Trucks and Xfinity, which will be short. So if you're here, thank you very much. Also, if you want to support me, support the work that I do, you get my projections and stuff, but it's more just supporting me as a content creator and stuff like that. You can join the Patreon below. You do get access to my Discord, my projections and all that stuff, but it's really just to help me out and stuff. But it's NFL season. I doubt you're going to be putting money into me when you get the NFL stuff going on. One thing for me that is really interesting, and which I am very bad at, is playing cash, because just the way my mind works, I don't have the ability to focus in on not playing like the highest scoring lines and stuff. Like, it's weird for me to like just play a line that's good enough to cash and stuff like that. So the reason I'm saying that is because I'm very interested on how this NASCAR Survivor contest ends up, because one, I couldn't believe that they made it. One, it was incredibly small. Like the field last week was about 1,600, I believe. And what it is, it's basically a 50-50 all the way till the final race at Phoenix. And it's really basically like a cheaper version of King of the Speedway. I was really shocked to see that. I think there was 8. I looked probably when it was like at 1,100 entries. I think there is 8 of us that had 20 or more entries into the contest. Now, this is a $28 contest, which is pretty expensive to enter a lot of lines in. Like JBC, McLovin, clearly they did the 49. I don't remember the other guys. But other like smart DFS players, like Joe Schroeder, I think he did 3. Stukas, fellow Patreon member, he did 4. ASC, Sterling, I think they did a handful of lines as well. But like the field was like oddly soft in the grand scheme of things. Now clearly you got to get to round 4 to even see your money back and stuff. But I'm just kind of perplexed by that, because there was a lot of people and there was just one line that they got to survive to round 4 to make money off of. I just didn't understand why there wasn't more people in that contest. It seemed like the competition was quite soft. Anyway, the reason I'm mentioning the cash stuff is because I just don't know how to play. Okay, and so I'm just throwing in the 20 lines that I'm running in usual contests, and I finish. It's crazy seeing the disparity of how the lines finished, because I had 7 not make the cut. So I ended up with 13 making it through. But there was such a gigantic difference in like the trains. Like JBC ran a train. There was several people who ran like huge 49 lineup trains with like I assume whatever their optimal cash line was, and that's just kind of insane. I'm curious on when it'll stop being the train. I don't know if it'll be this weekend because it's NFL. Nobody's really paying attention to NASCAR. So probably like round 3, you're gonna start seeing diversification in some people. Maybe not. Either way, I just kind of wanted to rant about that really fast. I think this is a very interesting contest to look at, especially down the wire of how people play. I can't believe more people didn't enter lines. Yeah, the entry fee was pretty heavy, but like the field payout is pretty decent past like round 4. If you can just get there, which I think it's gonna be easy. Hopefully I can make it farther down. I'd like to. I don't know. The way I look at it is it's kind of like my first ever like truly like big qualifying like contest. I could just like fuck trying to get tickets for King of the Speedway. I'll just pay my way in. Like that's how I view this contest. Anyway, with trucks and Xfinity, really quick. Xfinity, as I mentioned last week in entering Darlington, mainly the same thing here with Kansas. I want to talk more about that in the live show. When we look at Kansas historically in the Xfinity Series playoffs, we're talking playoffs here. When we look at the races for the playoffs, actually, let's go to Kansas. Let's go to Kansas, and let's look at the last couple races here. Let's talk about an interesting thing that has happened. That's not that one. I don't want the most recent one. I want to focus on the fall races because we have seen these races get kind of stupid here. Look at the last 3. So last year, 2021, we have two I'm going to say playoff contenders because Gregson clearly had the best car, or second best, basically super close with Ty Gibbs. He's involved in a crash late in the race, okay? We have, let's see if it's written down here. We have 3 championship drivers, Barry, Gregson, and Burton wreck. On the restart before that, we have the 19 spin out of turn 2. We're seeing that turn 2 is like a huge trouble spot in this race. We see, I mean, not massive accidents. Like, these aren't like huge things. There are more cars that have damage from it. But we tend to have a lot of like front runners get involved in crashes, specifically between the 4th and like 10th positions, where there's a lot of shuffling for position, trying to make up ground and stuff, whether it be them losing position on the pit road, whatever the case may happen. We've seen that a lot here. The year before, we have Austin Cindric and Noah Gragson, again, 2 big championship contenders being involved in this wreck, and these are actually the guys who were the favorites in DFS, due to starting 1st and 2nd. And we look at this, like, this is a massive accident, okay? And then we have another accident in turn 2 of fast cars. Like, these are not slow cars being involved in these crashes. Now, yes, they're, other cars being involved and stuff. But we are having fast vehicles kill themselves in turn 2 here at Kansas. And it has happened, I believe this is the Austin Cindric year. Yeah, here it is again. We have Austin Cindric be involved in a crash right here with a championship contender car. Austin Cindric, where did we go? Started 3rd, being involved in a crash. Like, Austin Cindric was the favorite this year. This is 2019. You got to remember, this is when last year Penske was here. They were flying fast. He was going to, he won the championship, but no, he did not. Daniel Hemrick won the championship. Cindric was the favorite, odds-on favorite, like every fucking track. It was wild. Late in this race, Bell and Custer, we see that Bell gets involved in an accident on the front straightaway. Yes. I was like, man, I hope so. I hope he was in that 20 car. I'm acting like I remember stuff. But Bell, I don't believe he has like a ton of damage, but he's involved. He spins. Something happens to Bell, whatever the case may be. We see that Custer also gets moved back. And so when we look at this race, the Xfinity Series at Kansas is very similar to the Cup Series at Darlington, to where you have high variance, just in general in NASCAR, but you have high variance with the leaders in these races being involved in crashes, being involved in incidents out of turn 2, just in general, but out of turn 2 specifically on the restarts. So when we look at this race at Kansas, yes, we know who's fast, we know who isn't, but like people who are in that danger zone of being involved in a crash, everyone specifically, but like people who are normally running, from like 4th to 9th, not at the end of the race, but due to poor qualifying, due to pit strategy, whatever the case may be. So like I would throw Austin Hill, Sheldon Creed, Sam Mayer, Josh Berry, Sammy Smith, trying to think of other names top of my head, Riley Herbst, possibly Brett Moffitt. Who else was in the fucking front of the field? Whoever's in the 19 car, because there's no Cup Series guy, so I assume it's Trevor Bayne. Like that zone of drivers who typically run from like 4th to 11th, 4th to 10th, that's a real danger zone this weekend, man. That is a real danger zone. And it's even worse if one of those guys gets the lead on pit lane and forces like a favorite to be there on a restart and stuff. Like, anyway, long-winded way to say is I think this is another race where I would advise you, even myself, to spread out ownership a little bit more. Like with me, I normally go like 70-75% on people. I think I went 60-55, somewhere around there. I think I had Bell in 12 of my lines on Sunday. That's pretty low for me, man. Usually I'm higher on that. Same thing with this race. This is a situation where I'm probably going to keep my ownership, 40 to 50% across the board on all my lap leaders up front, because I think there's a real chance that the main lap leader gets involved in a wreck or doesn't finish well. We have 2 of them 3 years ago. We have none last year, but this was an early crash taking out basically the fastest car, and Austin Cindric in 2020. We look at 2021. Where are we at here? Did I open this one twice? No, I did not. I'm missing 22. We have not. And yeah, we did. I am missing 1 year. Sorry. I was like, I could have sworn I clicked on it, but I X'd out of it. When we look back at last year's race, and this is that's why I didn't include it, because I was like, that one didn't have a fucking crash. This is the race where, well, one, we had rain in it, and then the race ended due to rain. That's why I didn't include it. I've been talking for so long. I was like, why did I not include this race? I don't remember. Yeah, it's because they didn't finish the race. But anyway, so that's my talk on Kansas for Xfinity. I think there's a real high likelihood that we're going to have wrecks involving front runners in this race. Does that mean stack from the back? No, but it makes the people who start in the back of the field way more likely to hit value in this race. Like if you are starting in the back of the field, let's just take a look at that really fast. When you look at the back of the field, if this motherfucker would load, look where these guys are finishing, man. I mean, Landon Castle, get the fuck out of here. Rick Ware 17, whatever the case may be. Greg Alding sucks ass. But, like, I mean, this is some pretty substantial place differential. Certainly, from your 30 to 20 positions. Like, I mean, 7 positions for Jordan Anderson at this time, that was pretty impressive. Matt Mills and BJ McLeod, like 6 straight up. Him to finish 25th, that's pretty substantial, man. Like 99 to project to finish 25th, like that's pretty huge. The projected finish is like 31st. The fact that Spencer Boyd finishes 31st, this guy should be last. Should be last for David Starr, but he's not, because there's people who wreck out, or there's people who get lapped. Do we go farther back? I don't really want to click this. You get the point. We're going to try it anyway, see if it goes. Huge place differential. Dexter Bean finishes 16th. Jesse Iwuji, man. Jesus Lord, my God. Jesse Iwuji finishes 27th. Jesse Hill, 19th. Timmy Hill. Finishes 21st. You get the point. So that's the Xfinity Series race. Truck Series, along the same lines, a little shorter, yet again, smaller. How big is this fucking contest for trucks, man? I mean, they killed the F1 contest, so I'm assuming this Truck Series contest is pretty fucked as well. No, it's 58. That's Xfinity 7,000. Okay, so that's not that bad. But the trucks, basically 6,000 entries. Qualifying, practice all on Friday. Going to be a short turnaround there. I want to look at practice. When we look at the people who are going to be fast in this race, I mean, it's about 7 to 10 drivers. That sounds really asinine, but the Truck Series pretty is even between the Tricon cars. And, people like Corey Heim, people like Jake Garcia, people like Christian Eckes, Ben Rhodes, not Matt Crafton, because he's not going to contend for the win, Grant Enfinger. Then you have, I just went blank on other guys in this race. Anywho, I'm thinking about it a lot. Trying to remember all the names and stuff. But that's more so I'm going to react to who's fast in practice, man. Who's qualifying well. And that's how I want to look at Kansas for the Truck Series. So anyway, a bit of a long episode here, or video, but you guys are focused on NFL. And thanks for listening. I'll see you guys in the live shows this weekend. And just thanks for being here and watching my stuff. See you guys later.